Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Rudy, we need roll call.
Vice Chair Danford,
Here.
Commissioner Lanza,
Here.
Commissioner Ham,
Here.
Commissioner Collette, is probably going to be absent tonight, and Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Byes did call us with an excused absence this evening. So we do, our membership is now 5. Unfortunately, Liz has resigned. She had a death in the family. She's moving away. So we are now officially 5 members. And so 3 is a quorum, and we may proceed with the meeting, Mr. Chairman.
Okey dokey. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move that we approve the agenda for tonight.
Second?
Rudy, roll call.
Vice Chair Danford,
Here. Yes.
Commissioner Lanza,
Yes.
Commissioner Ham.
Yes.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, do we have any any artwork to discuss?
No, not tonight. Actually, the next couple of items, announcement of artwork, public hearings, old business. We don't have anything, Mr. Chairman, but we do have a few general discussion items under new business.
Okay.
Before we go forward, do we need to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
I think we did that under the consent agenda.
That's usually under the consent agenda.
Yeah. So, Mr. Chairman, if it's okay with you, Diane from Art Space 6 is here to update us on a couple of items, and also to let us know how the Dutchman Dog Park update is coming along. We've gotten some pretty neat pictures from artist Trevor O'Toole. So basically, tonight's meeting is informational. And if it's okay with you, I'd like to invite Diane up to the
Cool.
podium.
Diane?
So, first item on the agenda is the Dutchman Dog Park update, and so we have some interesting photos to show you. And this is the bulldog. So basically, Trevor's at the stage where he has cut all the pieces to the bulldog, and also, I believe, the husky and the pup. So that was the first stage. It's just basically cutting the triangles. And here he is. This is the bulldog sculpture, and he's welding a couple of the plates together. And this is one of the legs to the bulldog. And he sent some other photos today that the bulldog is a little bit further on. He's going to finish that sculpture first and then start working on the other 2, the husky and the pup. So he is still scheduled to have everything completed by May. So we're hoping to have some type of opening in May at the dog park. Basically invite, the community, the city council members, everyone who would be interested, the Public Art Committee as well as the Parks and Rec Committee. So does anyone have any questions about the dog park sculptures at this point?
I don't.
Not tonight.
Okay, the next item is the Public Art Fund budget.
And I'll handle this one, Mr. Chairman. This exhibit that you have in your packets has actually been updated. We got this one maybe about a week to 10 days ago. I just got an updated budget as of today, and we actually have a balance right now of $218,596.57. So the 128 figure that you see there is revenues for just this year. Last year, as of last June, We had close to 112,000 in our budget, plus the 128, minus money that we have expended this year, Trevor's invoices and a couple of other things, leaves us with a total of 218, and that 218 is subject to further expenditures, which will be the balance that we are still paying the artist and our consultant. So if nothing else changes between now and next June, we should still have a good 180,000 in the bank for us to consider our next art project. And the next art project is, I think, also the next item on the agenda. So unless you have any questions about the budget, we'd be happy to get to the next discussion item.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So the next discussion item is the next public art project. As you remember, we had a retreat a couple of years ago, and we talked about the projects that we thought would have the most impact on the city. The number one choice was the Dutchman Dog Park, the number two choice was the Roundabout, and the third choice was Silly Mountain Park. So those are the three projects that were discussed at that time. I also want to show you some shorter, not permanent public art projects, but some lower budget temporary projects. And let me bring those up. So a couple of things I noticed that a lot of cities do, and not just in Arizona, but in other states, is they have artists create vinyl banners. In many cases, they create the design for banners, and then, based on putting together their digital copy, they're sent to a local vinyl company who creates these banners, and they can be up for a couple of years. They can be up even longer. In time, they're going to definitely degrade and they're going to fade. So what I wanted to bring forth to you all this evening was some of the temporary projects that I've noticed other cities doing. They're much lower budget. The next major public art project, a permanent, would be the Roundabout. And based on information that we all received tonight, we definitely have a higher budget to probably move forward with the Roundabout, depending on your direction. But I also wanted to bring up a couple of other projects that are temporary in nature, temporary meaning a couple of years, 3 years, maybe longer, and they are usually placed on city property. So the first image that you have here is a project that's in a city of Tempe building near the library. They commission an artist every year, 2 years, to create these designs for vinyl banners. Okay, this is in another city that's local, done by Lauren Lee, and these are basically banners that could be placed on buildings. They could be placed on, if they're smaller, they could be street banners, but it's just another illustration of a southwestern design. And another project that I notice is really popular are utility boxes. Now, utility boxes can be third-party utilities, like CenturyLink or another company that owns them, but they're also traffic signal boxes that are usually city-owned boxes. Depending on the complexity, the size of the box, if there are a lot of stickers that have to be taken into account by the artist receives a fee, and the artist sends in a digital file that goes to a vinyl wrap company, and there are several in this area, and they create the vinyl wrap, and they also install the vinyl wrap. And those can stay, eventually they will fade, but they can stay looking good for at least 3 years. So this is another temporary project that people love to do because they're temporary. They give local artists a chance to create artwork. A lot of these are Western themed, which I know is very popular. And so this just gives you a couple of images of what can be done. And the way to commission an artist is similar to what we've done in the past. You could do a call to artist. This would be definitely for a local artist, Phoenix area. And they either submit a proposal or they submit past work. This is a smaller scale project, so you can go either way with this. We basically give them direction. We can tell them that we want it, the design to somehow reflect Apache Junction, reflect the mountains, reflect the history, the legend, and so forth, and somehow be related to the Southwest. I think that's very popular with the city council as well as others, so that is one direction that we could go. There are some cities that actually paint the utility boxes. The problem with that is if it gets tagged, even if you have a coat, a clear coat over it, it's going to be a mess. Vinyl wraps, if they're tagged, most cases it will come off. If it doesn't, you can print up another version, take the old one down, put the new one up. So vinyl wraps, even in this heat, seem to be more popular. So, and I've been doing a little bit of research, how much the artist usually receives as a fee, what the cost is for the wrap and so forth. So basically, I think we're looking for direction to see how the Public Art Committee feels about this. And then the next item on the agenda is interested in evening or weekend workshop or retreat. It's been a couple of years. I think it would be a good time, depending on your direction, to meet again for maybe just a couple of hours, talk about the direction of the Public Art Committee. If we have new people on the committee, do we still want to go with the 3 areas that have been discussed? Do we want to look into some other temporary projects? Are there other locations where you'd like to see a permanent public art project? So those are items up for your discussion. Any questions?
Don't everybody jump at once.
No questions. I'm actually open to the idea of a weekend workshop. Sundays usually work best for me, but I can also do any kind of evening.
Sundays work best for me, and I like the idea of a workshop too. It's been a while.
Yeah, I'll go over that Sunday.
You okay with Sundays?
Yeah.
What do we got to do here?
We will send out an email with some possible dates and get your consensus and set it up. Couple of hours on a Sunday afternoon, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay,
That sounds good.
we can do that.
Great. Rudy, is there any other area where we need some direction?
It's up to the commissioners. Any ideas on what you've heard today?
I think if we do have this workshop, that'd be a good time to discuss whether we want to do some short-term projects or not,
Yep, I agree.
instead of jumping right to the roundabout.
Yeah, I agree as well. Plus also I feel even if we have a quorum, I feel having the whole commission together to discuss our ideas on what kind of temporary projects we want to go with is better than just the 3 of us deciding.
I agree,
And
I agree.
even just discussing it right now.
Yeah, I'd like to see the other 2 members here first.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Diane.
Thank you.
So I guess we move to information reports. Does anybody have any art-related news to discuss? Okay, Rudy, do you have anything to report?
The only thing I would add, kind of piggybacking on one of the items Diane mentioned a little bit ago, the roundabout. We did get a booklet from ADOT on their rules on art and roundabouts. It's about 200 pages long. It's quite complex. So Liz is going to help. Liz from Parks and Rec is going to help set up a meeting with someone from ADOT who deals with this kind of stuff to kind of, narrow it down. What are the don'ts?
Right.
What are the absolute do not do's, So we can come back to you with a more informed report on what kind of art might be acceptable to ADOT in the roundabout, because that is their right-of-way. Visibility across the roundabout is very important to them. So we don't want to design. We probably don't want to design something big and bulky that they're just going to say no to. Want to get their input from the get-go, get some direction from them before we do a call for artists in there, and they're designing things that just, aren't gonna get approved.
Well, my understanding is since it's on state highway, they have to approve it anyway, don't they? Don't they have to
Yeah.
approve,
Oh, yeah.
they have to approve the final design?
Absolutely, yeah. So if we can get some specific direction from the start of what not to do, hopefully it'll make for a smoother process.
You said Ms. Langenbach is trying to set this meeting up?
Yeah, she has a connection, she has a contact over at ADOT, and we're gonna try and set it up here within the next couple of weeks.
Is this something that maybe the members of the Art Commission could be involved in too?
Maybe not a quorum of members, but I think one or two should be okay, Joel? Yeah, okay, yeah,
Okay, then I would definitely like to be kept informed on that.
okay. Will do, and that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, do we have any future agenda items?
Not at this time, other than we will work on a date for your retreat, get something set up with ADOT, but we should probably go ahead and set up our meeting in March anyway, just in case, just to stay on the record, and we will inform you as we get closer to that meeting on what progress we've made.
Okay, that would be Monday, March 13th. Do we have a motion to select the next meeting date?
I move that we have a. I move that we have our next meeting on March 13th? March 13th at 5:30 PM at the City Council Chambers in Apache Junction, Arizona.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Rudy, roll call?
Commissioner Ham,
Yes.
Vice Chair Danford,
Yes.
Commissioner Alonso.
Yes.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, unless we don't have anything else, I now adjourn the meeting at 6:48.
6:48, thank you.